Hey guys, Jackie here, and in today's video we are going to discuss every character from PLL ever, with the exception of some one-timers, and whether or not I think they could be A. Now this is just my personal opinion, I could very well be wrong. I'm just going to go through all the characters and tell you if I think they could be A, whether or not them being A would disappoint me, and such. Tell me if I forgot any of the characters. I just scrolled through the PLL wiki and I organized all the characters into groups, so I may have forgotten someone, but I didn't include really minor characters. Just anyone who has some sort of significance. Alright, so I'm currently working my way through Season 3, and I was trying to pick out everyone who has been suspected of being A from Season 3 on, because I really think they're probably not A since they knew going into Season 3 who Uber A was. I think they would not draw attention to someone and make them look really suspicious if they were A, because that takes away the shock value. So far I have Toby, Ezra, Mike, Melissa, Jenna, Paige, Lucas, Holbrook, and I think Cece, but I'm not really sure, so I may be wrong there. I would be disappointed if it was one of those people, just because since they've already been suspected, it would be kind of just like not shocking. And several of them, I think they're kind of an obvious choice, a safe choice, and I don't really want a safe choice. I want something that's going to be surprising to me. Toby, obviously, I would be devastated because I love Toby, and if he was evil, I would just be so upset because, you know, Spoby is my OTP. I do not want my ship to sink. It's already bad enough as it is. I don't need him being A on top of that. So I would be upset. Ezra, I don't think he is because he was such a big suspect in Season 4. He could still be hiding something, I agree, but I don't think he's A. I would not be shocked, and that would be disappointing. Mike, we just went through the whole Mike thing, and he doesn't really have a strong motivation, so don't think it's him. Melissa, she's shady, she's a liar. Do I think she's A? No. Again, that would be a safe choice, and I would not be happy if it was her. Jenna, I hate Jenna. Next to Allison, she's my least favorite character on the entire show. I don't care how many times she says she's sorry. What she did to Toby was inexcusable, and it doesn't matter because she forced someone to have sex with her. I don't care how many times she says she's sorry or how many times she cries and acts like the victim. I don't care. I have no sympathy for her. Do I want her to be A, though? No, I don't, because Jenna and Toby have really the strongest and most obvious motivation, the Jenna thing. So if one of them were A, it would be, again, a really safe choice, an obvious choice. That would be disappointing for me. And plus, A has targeted Jenna a couple times, so I don't know why she would do that to herself. Doesn't make any sense to me. Paige, again, she was suspected in Season 3. I don't think that Allison having bullied her is strong enough motivation. If A is just someone who's getting back at these girls because Allison once bullied them, I would be disappointed about that because, as I've said many times before, we've all been bullied and we don't do things like this, and I would not feel pity for them. I wouldn't. Lucas, I actually really like Lucas. So if Lucas was A, I would be a little upset because I like him. He's like really like a cute little nerdy guy, and I kind of like him. In Season 1, I was kind of like a Lucas and Hannah fan for a little bit, but just like a little bit. I wouldn't say I like shipped them or anything, but I kind of like always felt bad for Lucas. I know there was a Lucas is A theory circulating on Tumblr. Circulating. I can't talk. Sorry. And I thought that was actually really interesting because Uber A's nickname, Uber, is a German word, and Lucas is the only character who has a German last name, which I found really interesting, especially considering they changed his last name from what it was in the books, which could have been purposeful. I don't know exactly what episode they first mentioned Lucas's last name, but if it was from midway through Season 2 or later, that could make him look really suspicious. So if any of you guys know when they first mentioned Lucas's last name in the show, that would be really interesting to me. I'd like to know because I'm not really sure exactly when they first mentioned it. Holbrook, again, we just recently went through the Holbrook thing. He seems to have been involved with Allison, yes, but I don't know why that would cause him to lash out at these other girls. And since we just went through the whole thing where they thought it was Holbrook, I would not be surprised. That would be a letdown. Cece, who I think was a suspect. We saw her in a black hoodie once, so let's count that as being a suspect. Again, she's a shady character, so I wouldn't be totally surprised. That would be a little disappointing. I do think Cece could be more involved, especially considering she was possibly wearing a yellow top that night. Perhaps she's a double agent. I was thinking about making a theory video on that if I can get some more evidence to support it. Right now it's kind of just a hypothetical thing that I'm thinking about. So yeah, those would all be letdowns to me, really. Like, with the exception of Toby, I probably wouldn't, like, just stop watching the show. Who knows, maybe even if Toby is A, I would still watch, but I may not. And so yeah, I would not like quit the show for any of them with the exception of possibly Toby because I love him so much. But I'll be a little disappointed because I was told it was going to be so shocking and heartbreaking, and I wouldn't really find a lot of these characters heartbreaking. Again, except for Toby, that would break my heart into a million tiny pieces. Dead characters. Obviously, if someone is dead, they are not A because, you know, they're dead. They're not coming back. You cannot text from the grave. This isn't Ravenswood. That was a bad show. Mona, supposedly. I still am going to say that Mona is alive until proven otherwise, but do I think she's A? No, because she was already A. If she was A again, that would just be disappointing. Bethany, supposedly dead. Again, until proven otherwise, I'm going to assume she's alive. And I think that Bethany would be great as A. I'd be really happy, especially considering it's my #1 theory and I love being right. And I think a lot of people in the fandom would be surprised. I wouldn't, obviously, because it's my theory, but I would still not care because that would be a great twist. And I would just love that so much. If Bethany was A, I would be so excited. I would be bummed a little bit if she was Allison's twin, considering they said Bethany was older than them, and, you know, it's in the books. So that would be disappointing, but you know what, if Bethany was related to somebody else, if she was Toby's twin, like I think, if she was somebody else's sister, or some kind of relative, someone's parent's daughter, like half-sister, yeah, I think that would be cool. And I think a lot of people would be surprised, and that could be really interesting. We find out that Bethany is alive and she's A. I would love that. Maya. Now, I actually saw some theories that Maya is alive and is A. I didn't read them. I would actually not be super upset about that just because I would be so shocked since we thought Maya was dead. I'm assuming that she's dead. I don't think there's any indication she's going to not be. But I wouldn't mind, because it would be really surprising, and I would like to be surprised with who A is. I would like it to not be someone really obvious, so I would be okay with that, I guess. Ian, I think he's definitely dead. We saw his body, you know, he's dead. He's not coming back, guys. Do you think he was suspicious considering if Allison really is the one who pushed him, he knew Allison was alive? I think possibly the NAT club could have known that she wasn't dead, but again, may make a theory about that later if I can find some more evidence for it. It's just something I'm thinking about right now. Do not think he's A, though. He's definitely dead, and I don't really think he was ever affiliated with the A-team. I think he just knew Allison was alive for whatever reason. Jessica De Laurentiis. Definitely dead, not A. Do I think she played a bigger role? Yes, I do. Particularly with the Toby's mother storyline, with Radley, I think she was definitely involved. She had some kind of connection to Bethany, and Bethany hated her for some reason. Definitely think she plays more into the story and possibly A's motives. Cough, cough. Bethany's motives, cough, cough. But she's not A. She's dead. I do think she plays into the bigger story, though. And yes, I'll throw Toby's mother in there, too. She was only in one episode, but her death apparently plays a really big part in this. We still don't know who killed her and why, so I think that has to tie into this whole bigger picture somehow. I'm going to go with Jessica killed her. Some people said Allison killed her, but I don't know why Allison would want to kill her. Some people think Bethany killed her. I think Bethany could very well be her daughter and Toby's twin, so I think that maybe Bethany is getting back at Allison because of that whole thing. But I definitely think the two of them, while they are definitely dead, do play into this. I actually saw some people say they thought Marion was alive because her grave doesn't have a death date like everybody else's does. I guess that could be possible, like totally hypothetically, if perhaps Jessica was in on it And instead of getting Wilden to cover up her killing someone, she was getting him to pass off another body as Marian's. That's possible. I have no idea why they would do that, but it's possible. I just don't really think I don't think that's really going to happen, because if Marian faked her death, why wouldn't she tell Toby or, see him somehow? Because she clearly loved him. I don't know why she would run away, fake her death, and possibly become A without letting Toby know, unless Toby's secretly in on it with her. So I don't really think she's alive. I know some people do. It's possible. Never say never, but I don't believe so. Wilden, definitely dead. Was he sketchy? Yes. Detective Creepy Pants, as his actor called him in the Halloween special. But he's not A, I think. Just a really creepy cop who's gone now. Shauna, I didn't like her. She's dead. Moving on. She may have had something to do with the A team, apparently. They thought she was A, but, she's dead. I think she doesn't have any more relevance, really. Lyndon James, definitely dead. This kind of goes back to Maya. I think it's possible, perhaps, that maybe Lyndon didn't actually kill her, because he never outright admitted that he did. Maybe that could be something that happened, because you know what? We never found out what Maya knew. Because Mona told the girls Maya knew, Miss Arya, you're a killer, not Ezra's wife, which is Maya knew in Mona's code. Yet we don't know what she knew. Did she know Allison was alive? Did perhaps, if Bethany's A, she got rid of Maya because Maya was going to expose her plan? That could be possible. I'd really like some more information on that, because they never really answered that question, like, what did Maya know? So, yeah. Definitely don't think he's A. He's definitely dead, but that's an interesting question to think about. Garrett, definitely dead. I think he knew some stuff. I think, again, the NAT Club could have known that Allison was alive, or something about Bethany, and that caused them to be targeted. And I think he could have known some really important information, and then they killed him to shut him up. But he's not A. Definitely not. And I already talked about Mrs. Kavanaugh, so we'll just skip that. Alright, this is the longest category. Minor characters, aka, this is exactly what I wrote. People who fell off the face of the earth, aka people we have not seen in forever. Or just people who are kind of minor, probably not A. Andrew. He just came back after first appearing in Season 4, and now a lot of people are jumping on the Andrew is A bandwagon. I do not think so. I do not think he's an important enough character. Maybe he could be shady, maybe he could be an A henchman, maybe he could know something, but I don't think he's A. I just don't think some random character is going to be A. If they are, I would be upset. So, hopefully, it is not Andrew. Talia and Johnny. Just random love interests thrown in there. They have no more relevance. I hope we don't see them. Like, I'm sick of them. Johnny, I hope he never comes back. Talia, I hope she leaves Emily alone soon. I don't like either of them. And I don't think they're A. They have no motivation whatsoever. They're just unlikable. That's it. Cyrus. Think he knows something. Think he's going to die. Do not think he's A. I definitely think he knows too much, and people know too much when they could possibly give some answers, they get dead. So I think Cyrus's days are numbered. We know he was in the ICU. I think if the girls go back to talk to him, he's gonna be dead. They're not gonna get anything out of him. Either that, or he'll be so scared that he refuses to talk. But they're not getting any information out of Cyrus. I think he's definitely going to die. Kate, Hannah's stepsister. Have not seen her in forever. Where did she go? One day she was in Rosewood, the next she was gone again after like her first week of school. Yeah, don't think she has any more relevance. Don't really care about her. So, moving on. I put Malcolm down. The kid Ezra thought was his son, but he wasn't really. He's like 8 years old? He's definitely not A. I don't know why I even wrote that down. I don't think anyone thinks he's A, right? Because if you do, can you explain your logic behind that? But I don't think anyone thinks that. Eddie Lamb. Again, think he could have some answers. Where did he go? He just up and disappeared. I would like Eddie to come back because I think he could be helpful, especially considering I think this all has to tie back into Radley some way. Isn't it Tanner who says, you know, it always leads back to Radley, doesn't it? Or something like that. She said that to Toby. I definitely think so. I think Radley is really important. And you know what? It was established right at the beginning of season 3 when they started laying the groundwork for Uber A. So you know what? I really believe Radley is involved somehow. We have Marion's death. Jessica was on the board. Bethany Young. It's gotta have more importance. There's gotta be something more going on with Radley that has to tie in. Noel. When did we last see Noel? I guess it was it, did we see him in the beginning of season 5? I know we saw him like working with Allison at the end of season 4 when the girls saw her again. I don't remember last time we saw him exactly. Don't think he's A. Kind of wondering where he went because he just disappeared. Ren. Ren is a sketchy character. I used to think Ren was A. I still think it's possible he could be because, you know, Ren, he's kind of never been made to look suspicious. And we could find out he has some hidden motivation. I would not be surprised because I've seen so many Ren as A theories, and I thought he was A before. So, but I wouldn't be super mad because it would kind of make sense. I'd be a little annoyed because he's hardly ever in the show anymore. I know Julian Morris is on Once Upon a Time, he was on New Girl, so he's a busy guy. But, you know, if he was A, I would hope he would be on the show a little more instead of just popping in and out randomly. The thing that always made me suspicious of Ren is that he never really seemed to serve a purpose. So I kind of always thought they had to throw in something else to make him more relevant because he was always kind of just there. And, you know, on the police whiteboard they wrote Dr. Kingston. What's up with that? Is he not really a doctor? Did, like, someone help him, like, pretend to be a doctor, but he's not? Is someone, like, blackmailing him with that? Is he just a really incompetent doctor? Did he, like, accidentally kill somebody? You know, who knows? I'm kind of wondering about Ren. Don't think he's A, but there's some things about him that kind of confuse me or make me suspicious. Colin, Spencer's British boy toy. Don't think he's got any real relevance. So let's not even talk about him. Meredith, she's been gone forever. She was crazy. She's gone now. I see people make A theories about the most random characters. Like, ooh, Meredith is Bethany Young's twin and she's A. First of all, it doesn't even make sense because, you know, Meredith was in college when she had an affair with Arya's dad. And then she was working as a teacher, so she would not be 19 right now. That would have meant she had to be out of college when she was 18 years old. It doesn't make any sense. And she's a minor character, so don't think that's possible. I also see people do that with Kate, and just, you know, I don't think that makes any sense. And if it was a character like that who we have not seen forever, I would be really mad, because that would just bother me so much. Mrs. Grunwald, not A, if you ask me. Could potentially know some stuff, but she's not A, if you ask me. So, Zach, no real relevance, he was just another Rosewood creep. Why is every guy in this town interested in underage girls? I don't know. It bothers me. Can't they just meet a nice guy who doesn't wanna make out with one of the liars? Like, every guy or girl in Emily's case who comes to town, they just want to get with one of those liars. Like, when was the last time we met a new character who comes in who wasn't romantically interested in them? Like, it's just ridiculous. Travis, irrelevant. Alex, irrelevant. Haven't seen him since season 1. Eric Kahn, probably irrelevant. Sarah Harvey's friends. Again, I see people saying that one of Sarah Harvey's friends is A. I don't think so. I would be really annoyed because they were in one episode. I think their part was just to introduce us to Sarah Harvey, and Sarah Harvey's going to be the real body in the grave. I do not think they're A. Doesn't make any sense. What would their motive be? I don't know. Unless the girls, like, killed Sarah Harvey or something, then what does Bethany Young relate to any of this? Don't think so. Leslie, she's shady. I know I posted a video about her possibly being Bethany, my mom's theory, actually. So, could be something more to her. I think if she's actually just Leslie and nothing more, she's not A, obviously. Jake, irrelevant, another one of Arya's love interests. Wes, Ezra's brother, irrelevant. Maggie, irrelevant. Sydney, What's the point with her? She's annoying. I don't like her. What's the point? She's boring. Who cares? Who cares about Sydney? Sean! What happened to that boy? Who really knows? He fell into a black hole. Alright, and this is continued on my next page because it's such a long list of people we haven't seen in a long time. Alright, Samara. No relevance. Not gonna see her again. Jackie. She came back. A bunch of people were saying she's A. Again, what would her motive be? I don't understand. Caleb's dad. No purpose. Ezra's mom. No motive. Holden. Don't think so. Dr. Sullivan. Don't think so. She was a target. So, don't think any of those people are A. If they came back after all this time and were suddenly A with some hidden motive, I would be annoyed because they're just such minor characters and it's like practically impossible to guess and just random. So I would be annoyed. Okay, some supporting characters. Jason. Potentially sketchy. Could know some stuff dealing with the NAT club. I'd like to know what the relevance of the NAT club was. How does that tie in? Again, I think maybe they knew Allison wasn't dead or Bethany wasn't dead or something like that, if my theory is correct, and that's why they were a target. But, you know, don't really know that for sure. I'd like to know what their relevance was. Don't particularly think Jason was A. I think Jason's kind of an obvious guess, since, you know, everyone says, well, Mrs. D would only bury Allison for her other child. So it seems kind of like an obvious guess. But I'm not saying it's impossible. It could be. I would be a little bummed. And, yeah. Ashley Marin. I do not think she's A. A lot of people think she's Black Widow, which could be possible if Black Widow's actually good. I do not think she's A. Don't think she has a motive. I really don't think it's apparent, because why would an adult spend so much time messing with some little young girls, some teenagers? Doesn't make sense to me. I would be kind of like, really? If it was apparent? So, I'm gonna mention the other parents, though, too. Ella doesn't have a motive. We haven't seen her in a while. Doesn't make sense to me. Byron. Crappy father most of the time. Is he A? Don't think so. Just kind of sleazy. But not A. Veronica Hastings. Probably not A. Don't think she has a motive. Mr. Hastings. Peter Hastings. Definitely think he's shady. Worst Father of the Year award goes to him every time because he's awful. I don't like him at all. Definitely could potentially know things, but probably not A. Could have been involved in the Radley cover-up, I think, or had some kind of deal with Jessica, because when he goes to talk to Jessica, I think he goes to talk to Jessica. Well, whatever. When Spencer and Toby come to him about suing Radley, at first he's into it, and then suddenly he's like, you know what, you shouldn't do it. Let's just let it go. We're not going to sue Radley. Why? Did he find out something, some reason why suing Radley would hurt him? Was he involved? You know, he has to be hiding something, I think. My mom's boyfriend actually thinks Peter's A. That's what he thinks. And then he said last week or the week before, he thought it was Andrew. I don't really think he's right, but you know what? He's trying. And that's sweet. Pastor Ted. Some people are actually coming with Pastor Ted theories now. I haven't read any of them or watched any of the videos. I don't think Pastor Ted's A. I think Pastor Ted's a nice guy. I don't think he's A. I think he's just here because he's dating Ashley. Engaged to Ashley now, actually. That's right. Detective Tanner. Don't think she's involved. I think she's trying to find out what's going on. Does seem to be trying to pin it on the liars, but I don't think she's A-team. Don't think she's involved with that. Mr. Marin. Probably not involved. Mrs. Fields, probably not involved. Mr. Fields, probably not involved. And then we have Caleb, who, you know, I would be shocked if Caleb was A. That would be really surprising. It would be heartbreaking for a lot of fans. But they made the Ravenswood spinoff. If they knew Caleb was going to be A, they would not write him off the show for a spinoff, because they didn't know how long that spinoff was going to last. They didn't know it was going to fail. When you write a show, you go in hoping that it's going to be on the air for a long time. So if they wrote Caleb off the show, I don't think he would be A, because, you know, why would they write their villain off the show if he could potentially not come back? So, do not think he's A. So glad he came back, because I love Caleb. Love him so much. He's like the best boyfriend ever. And finally, the girls. Allison, obvious choice. We have been suspecting her this season. You know, she got arrested for these crimes. I would not be shocked, but I also be kind of confused because, you know, I don't know why she would do some of this stuff to herself unless she's just really, really crazy. So do not think it's Allison. Spencer, don't think it's Spencer either, because again, why would she do this stuff to herself? She joined the A-Team temporarily in season 3, which I loved. I wish that we got to see Spencer and Toby on the A-Team for longer, because I would have loved that. I don't know if I've ever told you guys this before, but if A could be whoever I wanted, like ignoring whether or not it's plausible, I would want it to be Spencer and Toby. Not like, I would hate it if it was just Spencer or just Toby, but if it was both of them together, like being this badass team and just secretly messing with everyone all this time, I would love that. That would be awesome. Though I actually think when you like think about what we know about the show, like it wouldn't make sense because the two of them have talked about A lots of times when they're alone, so it wouldn't make sense. But you know, hypothetically, that would be pretty cool. But I would hate it if it was just Spencer or just Toby. Don't remember what I was saying before I brought that up. Anyway, since she was already an A-Team member very briefly, don't think it's her. And, you know, I think she's the liar who's been targeted the most by A out of the main 4. Why would she do that to herself? Emily, can't think of motive for Emily, but you know what? It would be shocking. I'd be a little disappointed because I love Emily, but I would be blown away. I would be so surprised if it was Emily. Because Emily just seems so sweet and innocent, and if it was Emily, I would be really, really shocked. So, you know, I guess it wouldn't be terrible if it was Emily. I don't think it's going to happen, and I would be a little upset because I love Emily, but you know what? I would be really, really, really shocked. I would not have seen that coming. Hannah would be a little surprised. Like, you know, I'll be like, wow, I didn't think it was going to be Hannah. But there are a lot of Hannah is A theories right now because it seems like she's actually smarter than we thought she was. And I would be a little disappointed again because I really like Hannah. But, you know, it could happen, maybe. I don't really think so. It would be a little surprising. If any of the girls are A, I think it's probably Aria, because I used to be a big Aria as A fan. Some of the theories are really good. Though some of them actually go, like, really crazy. They're like, Aria does the shush in the opening, so she's A. Aria has an A in her name, 2 A's in her name. It starts with A and it ends with A. She's A. Like, that doesn't make sense. They did not know who Uber was until midway through season 2, beginning of season 3. The opening was filmed before the first episode, so that would not make sense. And Aria is the name given to her by Sarah Shepard, the writer of the books. And in the books, Aria is not A, so that doesn't help your theory at all. So some of them are really good theories, some of them go like way too far. But, you know, if it's any of the liars, I don't think it's going to be, though. I think it will be Aria. But I do not think any of the liars are going to be A. Because, you know, why would you do that to yourself unless you're crazy? You would not. And I just think it would be kind of upsetting for a lot of people. But you know what? If it's going to be any of the liars, I think it's going to be Aria. Alright, I think I hit every character. I didn't realize before how disappointed I would be with the majority of the suspects. So, if it's not Bethany, I'm probably going to be really sad. Because there's a lot of characters where I just do not want them to be A. Don't think I forgot anyone. Please tell me if I did. This video ended up being so much longer than I expected. Sorry, guys. It's like 30 minutes of listening to me talk. Ugh. No, terrible. And so tell me if I forgot somebody who's pretty important. I'll talk about them in the comments. Again, please turn reply on. So many of you guys are commenting with really great stuff, and I can't reply. I've told you this at least 5 times, and you guys aren't doing it. It's kind of frustrating. So please turn your replies on. I would love to reply to you, but so many of you don't have them on. Please turn them on. It's so simple. I don't know why you're not doing it. It takes like 2 minutes maximum. Like, that's a stretch. It took me like 1 minute once I figured out how to do it. Like, it's really easy. You just have to press a button. That's really it. And another thing, I'm really excited to say that I have reached 100 followers, actually past 100 subscribers. And that's awesome. Thank you guys so much for subscribing to my channel. It feels great to know that you guys are watching these videos. I would love to do something special for you guys since I have 100 subscribers now. If you guys have some idea of something special I could do to show you guys how much I appreciate you, please put it in the comments and I will tell you what I think. Maybe like a Q&A video. Tell me if you guys would be interested in that, because that would be super fun. But you know, if no one would send me questions, then what's the point? So tell me what you think about that. Tell me what you think about this video, and I will see you later this week for the weekly recap, which should be up Wednesday. If not Wednesday, then Thursday. Probably not Friday night because I'm going to a party on Friday night, but it should be up Wednesday, hopefully by Thursday at the latest. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I love you. Thank you so much for subscribing to me and watching my videos. I love you all. Alright, until next time.